So you're looking to buy a home, or maybe you're looking to sell your home. Let me ask you a question. How familiar are you with radon? Do you have any idea the importance of why we should know about radon? Well, we're going to take a few minutes and I'm going to break this down and explain to you why this is important. Hey everyone, Brandon Shupe at Skydan Real Estate Sales. I hope everything is going well. So today I wanted to kind of talk about something a little bit more on a serious side of real estate, more of kind of like a health issue. That's something that I recently came across that I think needs to be looked at a little bit more serious, and that's radon. Okay, we as real estate brokers, we know about radon. We know basically that it's an odorless gas that comes from the soil, and that it comes and it can seep into the foundation of your home. And we always suggest to a potential buyer that they would have a radon test done. But I'm going to be honest with you. In most cases, I think radon is always just kind of pushed to the side and not taken very serious. And so what happened was about a year and a half ago when my wife and I purchased our newer home, the home inspector asked us if we wanted to do a radon test. So here I am, I'm a consumer too myself as a home buyer, and my wife and I we just kind of took it and put it on the side, didn't think it was really that important, and we took a pass on it. I think it was an additional $60 to have the radon test done, but we just didn't do it. Well, recently, a couple of months ago, I started reading some articles and I saw a news report on radon. And it got me to thinking. Because, see, again, I thought that because our home was newer, there was nothing to worry about. And that because a lot of the older homes may have cracks in the foundation, and that's where you're going to see higher levels of radon. Again, which is another reason why we just kind of took a pass on it. But when I found out that you can actually get high levels of radon even in newer construction homes, I took a moment and did a little bit more in detail research. And what I found was that a lot of the newer homes do have levels of radon. I know this too also because I've seen a lot of newer homes, new construction homes that I've sold potential buyers, and I've seen that they've got radon mitigation systems in the basement, and found out that a lot of these building departments and code enforcements are actually requiring builders to add radon mitigation systems right to the new constructions in these homes. So the first question that a lot of people have is, what exactly is radon? Okay, so I'm going to actually read to you some of the research that I did. And according to the EPA, the maximum acceptable level of radon is 4.0, and then it's got some letters, PCI dash or slash / L. But even that lower level is not safe per SE. The EPA strongly recommends that you consider radon mitigation between levels of 2.0 and 4.0. For perspective, the average outdoor air level of radon is 0.4 PCI-L / L. So here, I'm looking at, okay, what exactly does this mean, right? So I went on a little bit farther, okay, and I looked to see, besides what are safe radon levels, because what they say is that safe levels of radon gas can still be an issue. Radon gas is a carcinogen which can cause lung cancer. And that the US EPA has put it plainly stated that any radon exposure has some risk of causing lung cancer. My father recently was diagnosed with a tumor on his lung. He wasn't a big smoker, but he lives in a house that's a little bit older, and I was just wondering if it was possible, if there were higher radon levels in his home that could have maybe possibly caused this. So again, with all of this racking up, I decided to look into this in our home. I went on Amazon and I purchased an electronic radon tester. and it came in the mail a couple of days later, and I put it downstairs in the basement, and I let it go for 24 hours, and after 24 hours I went and looked at it, and the radon level said 5.2, okay? Now, again, going back to this level that says here is this PCI/L, okay? I wasn't exactly sure what it meant, but it's like it's a pico level of some sort. Again, we don't know. I didn't know anything about any of this, but I did know, and it got my attention when I saw that the radon level said 5.2. Now, they're saying that safe levels between 2.0 and 4.0 need to be looked at. So I actually went on Home Advisor, and I got a list of 3 radon specialists, and I had them come out to my house. They did confirm that we had a little bit higher levels. One guy came in at 4.8, another guy came in at 5.2, and a third guy came in at 5.2. So now, because of the fact that I now know that our radon levels in our home that we just purchased a year and a half ago, we're now looking at having a remediation or mitigation system put into our home. Now, in our home, the cost is going to be about $1,200 to $1,300. And I kind of hit myself because here was an opportunity that when we purchased our home for that $60, I probably should have had the radon test done. And because of the fact that this form, okay, this is a radon disclosure form. And in the state of Illinois, it requires every homeowner that sells their home that they have to fill this form out and disclose whether or not they're aware of radon. The buyer sees this form, acknowledges the form, and then they have their decision, their choice, to be able to have a radon test done themselves. This form then kind of holds the seller accountable because, first of all, if the seller is aware that there's radon, most likely the buyer is going to ask them to pay to have a mitigation system because it's part of the negotiation of a home inspection. But if the seller is unaware, which the form does say on here, that they are either aware or they have no knowledge of any high radon levels. So if the buyer then chooses to have a radon test done, and if the radon levels come back at a higher level, the seller is now aware, okay? So it really is in the benefit to a person buying the home to spend that extra $60 and have the radon test done, because now you can it gives you the ability to go back and negotiate with the seller and ask them to have a mitigation system installed, or they can negotiate, split the cost or whatever. And if for whatever reason, if they can't come to an agreement, the contract becomes null and void in most cases, okay? But there it flips over to the homeowner now, the seller, because why wouldn't they now want to work out a deal? They now are aware that there's unsafe high levels of radon in their home. And it's not just for a potential buyer, but it's also for themselves too. So why wouldn't they want to work it out? But because we just kind of passed it off and didn't do the test, we now are going to have to pay the $1,300 to have the mitigation system installed. And what it says on the form here, okay, it says that every buyer that has interest in a residential property has the ability to have the test done. So the reason I'm putting this video out today is because I just wanted to kind of share a story that my wife and I recently went through now with this radon. And I encourage you to look into radon more. If you are a homeowner and you're currently living in your home, it'd be a good idea for you to have the radon test done yourself. But if you are a potential buyer and you find a home, I don't care what the age of the house is. If there is no mitigation system in the home, I would suggest that you do some research on the radon. Spend the extra $60 or whatever the cost is for your home inspector to do that reading. And if there is a higher level of radon, go to the seller and negotiate. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say kill the deal and cancel the contract and go find another home, Because with the research that I've done and the mitigation companies that I've talked to, in order to mitigate the problem is really quite simple. And you can actually go on YouTube, and there's a lot of videos out there to show you exactly how the mitigations are done on radon. But it's really a simple way of getting rid of the gas, and it brings it down to a safe level. So I'm not encouraging anybody to cancel a contract on the sale of a home just because there are a little bit of a higher radon levels, but it is a simple method in order to get those radon levels down. And I will bet you that most homes out there do have some sort of a level of radon. So hopefully this gives you some ideas, at least on my perspective and the way that I look at it as a real estate broker, but also how I look at it as a consumer and what we went through when we were looking to purchase our home. So go out there, do the research. Hopefully this helps. And if you do have any questions, feel free to go down below, subscribe to my channel, ask any questions that you have. I'd love to help you out any way that I can in any of your real estate needs. But again, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. And as always, make it a great day.